Sup, it's Hallie, and welcome back to How to Make a DDLC Mod. When we last left off, we did the thing with the poems and the stuff and whatnot. I also figured out what my audio issue was, so that's not an issue anymore. And now we're going to move on with persistent playthroughs. Let's see what this is about.
Welcome back, Hallie. This lesson is going to be pretty quick, and chances are that this may not apply to you right now. Though if you do want to have anything to do with the following in your own mods sometime, you should consider paying attention and taking notes. Today we'll be learning how to change acts, or perhaps make the mod play an entirely different story than what you had previously seen in the game. First, let's run down how that works in Doki Doki Literature Club. In DDLC, there are 4 acts in total. By default, the persistent playthrough number is 0. According to the Vanilla Games script, the value seems to change 4 times. The persistent playthrough value is set to 1 immediately when the player sees Sayori die in Act 1, Chapter 5, playing the dreaded Sayonara track. It changes to 2 when the game tries to call Sayori but realizes she's already deleted, hence the game restarts to make note that she doesn't exist in the timeline. It changes again to 3 when Yuri dies in Act 2, Chapter 3, and when Monica deletes everybody else. Fucking Monica! Anyway, the value changes one more time to 4 after the player, aka you, erases Monica's character file from the characters folder. That's pretty much the gist of how the persistent playthrough function works. Which leads me to ask you the next question. What if you wanted to make your mod receive a New Game Plus of some sort?
That's exactly what mine does.
By setting the persistent playthrough variable to 1, since the default is 0, the game will only call the script that's in the persistent playthrough 1 label. Do you get what I'm saying?
No.
Ugh. Fuck, let me try to phrase that better so that you'll understand. Let's say that someone has completed playing your mod. They request that the mod should have a completely different script when starting a new game than what they already saw. To start achieving this sorcery, our default persistent playthrough value is 0. In case you have no idea what the function does, the persistent playthrough controls the playthrough number the player is on. You can decide when you should change that value. At any part of your script, insert the following line. Persistent playthrough equals 1. After that, the variable should be changed accordingly. Come up with a creative and original ending for your Act 1 script before calling for the endgame script. To call the endgame screen, simply type in the following line of code. Call endgame. If you start a new game at this point, then the script will be completely different. Since we haven't modified the script past this point, it just starts to mimic the vanilla game again. Once again, publishing your mod with the vanilla script intact is not okie dokie. So if you're going to change acts, I strongly recommend that you have some kind of custom Act 2 script at the ready. And ensure the game is set to call that instead of the vanilla scripts. I hope you remember to jot down notes throughout my previous lessons though. Now, do you understand what to do if you want to change acts and stuff?
I do, but I wanted to include a little note here about persistent variables and their uses, since Natsuki didn't quite cover it. Basically, if you want to use a persistent variable to regulate how your games work, you're better off making your own instead of using DDLC's persistent playthrough, the existing one, because while you can use it to change acts like she says, it can have unintended side effects. Like, for example, if you had it start at 0 and you changed it to 1 partway through, it would cause the new game button on the main menu to become a load of gibberish glitch symbols like it does in the original game. And you can go into Screenstar RPY to prevent that from happening. You can change how that works, but it's kind of a hassle and you're better off just making your own persistent variables. And the whole idea behind a persistent variable is it's a variable that retains its value regardless of where your progress in the story is. So it's always the value that the game sets it to, whether you've started a new game or not, is the idea. But yeah, there you go.
I like your answer. Thank you for being honest. I think that will do for this lesson. I need to cover one more thing with you before we can get started with making our own assets and stuff. Just let me know when you're ready and then we'll get that squared away. Bye-bye for now.
Well, that was a nice, short and easy one. I feel like they kind of undersold the value of persistence, but Act 2 shenanigans, let's go.
Hello, Hallie. Over the course of this mod, we've learned a lot of the basics regarding the construction of mods for DDLC. This ranges from template installation, studying the game files, calling scripts, making our own dialogue and choices, writing custom poems, etc. It will soon be time to use our knowledge to create the ultimate DDLC mod of our dreams. However, before we do that, we have only one more thing left to cover. As you can tell by the title of this section, we're going to talk about the majority of things that only occur in the Act 2 portion of DDLC. This ranges from things such as glitchy text to wacky events. There are a lot of glitch functions in DDLC. Hell, glitch functions are what the game mostly consists of. Not really. You can take a look at all of the glitches in action by opening, observing, and then taking notes in a separate document in Notepad from the following script files.
Oh my god, did you just endorse the use of Notepad? Script chapter 20, chapter 21, chapter 22, and chapter 23. It's not really like 20, 21, 20. It's like 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, etc.
Let's start off with the simple black outlined glitch font. You've seen that in action before, as it would typically be used to show that someone is in a state of extreme rage, or something along those lines.
Or you mean like their text has been altered?
If you want to use such a creepy font, do this. Style say dialogue equals style edited. The line that follows will begin the chain of glitched fonts. Put in the dialogue you want your character to yell out. And then when you're done, put in the following line. Style say dialogue equals style normal. That will end the glitch font chain. And the lines that show after that specific Python command will revert back to what it was before they started using the glitch font. For example, Monica should move my manga back where it belongs, or else I am going to strangle her. Did you see that the font has changed to be more dark and edgy?
Yeah, it sure has.
That's the whole purpose of the glitch font. What about using a long string of glitchy characters? Well, do the following. Gtext equals glitch text, anything. Any compatible variable works here, though the game just uses gtext.
Actually, it's looking for a number. It tells it how long of a string of glitch text you want, and gtext I think is like 20 by default or something.
Here's an example. Monica needs to let the player be with whoever he wants to spend the time with. See what I did there? That's a fact. And don't you even dare think about having the urge to deny it. For this next trick, you can literally mess with the screen. To do this, use the following as an example. Show screen tear 20.1.1040. Play sound SFX skill glitch1.log. Pause 0.25. Hide screen tear. Here's the screen tear in action.
Oh god, it's still doing that thing. Even though I opened this in RenPy. Oh well.
And as you can suggest, that really startled me. These parameters can actually be changed. The sequence is as follows: number, off-time mult, on-time mult, offset min, and offset max. The number tells us how many times the screen is divided, which makes the sections that glitch larger or smaller. A number is chosen between off-time mult and on-time mult to offset each section. Offset min and offset max tell how far the glitch will distort the screen. Setting the max higher makes each section move farther out. Now here's a random tear effect that you can make.
Yeah, see, like, they changed this function in later versions of RenPy, so that's kind of one of the reasons why you might want to use a lower version to mod DDLC. If you're planning on using the screen tear, at least, the older version of RenPy is, like, necessary for it not to be broken.
Arrgh! That screen tear is a lot worse than what the example depicted. But you're able to make the screen tear as bad as you want. However, try playing around with the variables to see what kind of screen tear you come up with. The next feature is the vignette. Basically, the vignette allows for darkening the corners of the screen. To use the vignette, use the following. Show vignette. Alpha 0.5. If you add sorter 3 or higher after the first line, the effect will be above the characters. The value of transparency can be between 0 and 1, or 0 or 1, transparent or opaque respectively. Some tips. You can use @vignette fade and @vignette flicker to fade and flicker the effect respectively. In the vanilla game, this code is used first. Time left equals 12.453. Get pause. And then these. Show vignette as flicker sorter 4 at vignette flicker, time left. Show vignette sorter 4 at vignette fade, time left. To hide the effect, simply type hide vignette. All of the above can also be done for the noise effect. To use the noise effect, add this to your own script. Show noise. Alpha 0.5. Again, adding sorter 3 or higher after the first line will allow the effect to will be above the characters. The value of transparency can again be between 0 or 1, transparent or opaque respectively. You can also include a noise fade to fade the effect in after a specified time passes. To hide the effect, simply type hide noise. Now, what about zooming in with the heartbeat music? Try this. Show layer master at heartbeat. Put in any code you wish. And when you're done with the effect, show layer master. I can't think of a good example for this one. Oh, how about this? If you want the screen to slowly zoom in and tilt like in the original game, do this. Show layer master. Subpixel true. True center. Linear 240 rotate 8 zoom 1.3. Let me go ahead and apply that. Okay, so it may look like nothing's happening right now, but if you wait long enough, you'll still notice that the effect is indeed kicking in. It's slowly coming together, but the effect is running its course. While this effect is in process, let me ask you a few questions so that I get to know you better on the flop side of life. So, how's your day been? What do you plan on doing after recording this?
Well, I'm gonna chop up the video bits, upload them, and go to bed. Also, how do you know I'm recording this?
Who do you think is best girl?
Yuri.
Where do you buy your groceries?
Giant Eagle across the street from my apartment complex.
When do you eat dinner?
At 5:30 every day.
Nice room you got.
Glad you think so.
Can you give me a room tour sometime?
No, not really.
Okay, that's enough of that. Reset! There we go. Now then, let's move on to something else. You may be wondering how you can get characters to stand in front of this dialog box. It's pretty easy to achieve this. Simply show the character you want, include the pose and expression, then include on layer front before doing the position. For example, show Monica to be on layer front at I-44, or is that L-44?
What's up?
I'm blocking part of the dialog box. What the fuck? I wanted to do that, not you. Be quiet. Let's just go somewhere else.
I was wondering if they were going to. Whenever a character is on this layer, you actually have to manually remove them from the layer too. We'll see if Natsuki notices, I guess.
And now that we're out of the room for a wee little bit, let's show off something else. We'll take a look at rigged choices. From what I can observe, see if these look and behave almost...
This is obnoxious, but I guess we're stuck not being able to read through Monica.
All normal choice menus. However, the player's cursor magnetizes toward a position on the screen, and a choice from the rigged, usually being hovered over as a result. For example, the vanilla choice screen is rigged near the end of Act 2 where the cursor sticks with Monica. If you successfully choose a different option, then something strange happens. Before we go any further...
Hey Monica, again.
I'd like to ask you something. And I want you to be really honest. Okay. Let's pretend that Sayori didn't exist in DDLC to begin with. Only Monica, Natsuki, and Yuri exist in the game. Once the player joins, the trio can create themselves official club. Of course, there's still going to be the whole debate. The best girl is... So answer me truthfully on this one. Who is best girl?
Well, considering my best girl wasn't Sayori, it's still Yuri, and you can't stop me anyway. Also, and this is another thing you might not have known, dear viewer, but whenever you're on a menu like this, you can use the arrow keys to navigate it, so even though my mouse is being dragged to Natsuki, you can still use the arrow keys to get any other option you want. I want Yuri. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go.
Thank you for your most honest answer. As you can probably guess, we got some code to revive that. By the way, the entire setup for the rigged choice is in script chapter 2.3. If you want to use the rigged choice thing, go ahead, copy the entirety of the event and paste it into your script. Specifically, start from the actual Python label that S, the rigged choice menu. Highlight everything until you finish with the hide na and hide Yuri lines. Paste it all into your own script and make edits as N.
Incidentally, that's also a good way to use any of DDLC's effects. Just find them in the existing script and copy-paste them and then edit them. Learn how they work.
Since there's no one to hide it, or if you left it as is, then T, game might spit out an error of sorts. Do you want to know what I changed with the rigged you just saw? Basically, I swapped Monica and Natsuki's menu choice positions and replaced the if choice made does not equal Monica instance to Natsuki. It was in the order that went like Natsuki, Yuri, and Monica initially. And then I swapped the first and last options places. Try doing that in your script when you get the chance. The ranked choice menu is a good way to confuse yo audience. But if you had more than 3 choices, but still to rate the menu? Well, you'll need to edit the rate mouse function. To do that, you have to open Screens RPY and search the function. It should be in lines 331 to 336. One of these lines, specifically the one with the target position values, show where to position the cursor ranked choice menu appear. Only the second number will need changing if you're or removing choices in a ranked menu of sorts. For reference, it's target pause equals XY in brackets. The variable music pause equal get pause takes note of W position the song was in before abruptly stopping it. Scene white is basically like the black color background, it's white instead. Show Yuri pupils is just nothing but Yuri's eye pupils. Did you see all those menu options clogging up the S? And then when you clicked one of them, the HH pass line, the pass is used when a block is required but no statement is suitable. It does absolutely nothing. If you have some sort of choice block in tow and some options feature the pass statement, then they fault thing. I guess while we're on the topic of conditional statement, let's go over the rest of them. It's pretty quick, and learning these statements will help you in the long run.
Hey, we actually didn't need the rest of that sentence.
In case you didn't know, RedPie includes several stats that can alter control flow based on expression value. This is in addition to the jump or call and return state, which transfer control unconditionally. Please note that its pages discusses statements that used inside RedPie script. Python embedded in a RedPie game uses the Python, while, if, and for statements, but can't embed RedPie statements. Now, on to the terms. If you ever went to some kind of event where you lived to code, I think it was called Hour of Code or something. Anyway, if you went to such event, surely you remember what if statements are. What do you mean you don't remember? Arrgh. Let me refresh your memory then. The if statement conditionally executes a block of statements if a Python expression is true. It consists of an if clause, 0 or more elif clauses, optional else clause. Each clause should be on its own logical line, follow block of statements. The if and elif clauses are followed by an expressio, while all clauses end with a colon. The expressions in the if statement are evaluated from first to last. When an expression evaluates to true, the block that corresponds to that statement is executed. When control reaches the end of the block, it proceeds the statement following the if statement. If all expressions evaluate to false, the block associated with the else clause is executed if the else clause present. There's also the while statement that seems to have some sort of connection with the if statement in a W. The while statement executes a block of statements and expression evaluates true. The expression is evaluated when while statement reached and then each time controller reaches the end block. When the expression returns a false value, the state after the while statement is executed. While RedPie is capable of using if, while, and pause statements, there's statements that RedPie doesn't H. For instance, RedPie does not have continue, break, for statements. Continue and break statements can be replaced by J, labels placed before or after the while loop respective. I guess that's everything then. I would have gone over that fake choice menu gig. Mod author decided that it would be best if he saved a future update of this tutorial mod.
Oh, it needs an update, alright.